this Star Citizen Salvage Beginner's Guide, I'm going to show you exactly how to salvage. I'll go over all the basics like the key bindings, where to salvage, where to sell, and the best build. So let me quickly show you. First, where do we buy the Vulture? We can buy the Vulture in-game currently. If we open up our map, zoom out all the way and type in Loadout here, we can go buy the Vulture at this city. So you just need to head over there, go to Loadout. Once at the space station, you can run up to New Deal, and eventually you'll find a terminal where you can buy the Vulture for yourself. So you can definitely buy it in-game to start making money with. Now that you have your Vulture, what's the best scraper modules? Well, the best scraper module, in my opinion, is the Upgrade. You can buy this at Crew L1. So if I open up my map here, you can just type in Crew here and choose L1. You can buy this module at this station. There's a couple of other stations where you can buy it as well. I'll quickly show you. In order to show you the other places where you can buy the Upgrade Scraper module, you can just go to Oracle.games here, click on this drop down and choose Upgrade. And here you can see all the other shops. Now there's a lot of scraping modules, but I like the Upgrade the best at the moment. You can try Singes or the other ones, but Upgrade feels the best to me at the moment, so I'm going to go with this one. If you want a stealth build, I already set one up here as well. My shields, I just go Shimmers, which is stealth shields. I go stealth power plants as well, and then a vapor block. You probably don't need all of this, since you can probably turn off your shields, and you probably don't have to use all your engines. You can reduce your signature by quite a lot if you want to, but not always necessary. But stealth is still very helpful if you salvage in dangerous areas. Now that you know my build, let me show you how to actually go salvage. We're in our ship here. The first place where you can go salvage is by using contracts. You can just hit F1, go to contracts here, and then go to salvage. This will have a bunch of salvage that you can take. You will have to pay a little bit to get access to them. As your rep increases, you'll get better and bigger ships to salvage. But for the example here, I'm just going to take this arrow and show you how to salvage. We're at our salvage contract here. This is a good example of me showing you how to salvage. I will show you how to find panels in a minute so that you can salvage that as well. But to start salvaging, just going to hit M. Our laser beams will activate. Now there's a bunch of key bindings that might be a little bit confusing, but if you right click, you'll see that I'll switch over to my Singes. And if I right click again, I'll switch over to my Upgrades. This is the basics of it. Now if I hold left alt and I press A, you'll see I only activate my left laser here. If I press left alt and I press S, will activate both lasers again. And the same goes for alt, and then I press D, I'll only activate my right laser, and then you can switch between the other one by right clicking. So that's the basic key bindings of it. Now I can also, if I press alt S, I'll activate both again. If I press alt W, I'll go into fracture mode. This is where you fracture the ship. It will break into little pieces, and then you can just basically eat it. But we don't want to do this. So let's go out of it by pressing Alt S. Now to actually start salvaging, it's not that difficult. You can either use gimbal mode by pressing G, and we can move our scraper around. For example, if I just click now, you can see I can start moving my little thing around here because I'm in gimbal mode. Or I can exit gimbal mode and just look around with my mouse. I would recommend that you press G to start off with and then turn it off again. You will basically focus your lasers a little bit more so that you can salvage a little bit faster. With the upgrades, it goes pretty fast. I have tried Singes as well. I prefer the upgrades just because it's a lot faster. I can switch here as well to my Singes, and you'll see it's quite a bit slower. You'll get a little bit more material, I believe, but it's a lot slower. My brain doesn't like this, so I prefer to be faster and just use a braid, which I really enjoy quite a bit. All that you need to do now is just eat up all the material. It goes quite fast, especially with the little arrow, so not too difficult. And here on the right hand side, you'll see our buffer will start filling with recycled material. There we go, we're already done with this little arrow, but there might be a little bit more things left on the other side that we can also pick up. But the mission is actually done. But we did pay for this mission, so you want to make sure that you get each and every little bit of scrap that you can find. There we go. That is most of it. Now that we're all done with this, we can press Alt W and activate this mode to basically fracture the little arrow here. Usually I don't like to do this because this fractured material is not as profitable, but you can definitely do it if you want to. And then you can right click and you can start basically disintegrating each little piece. This will also go into your hull as material, but like I said, this doesn't sell for that much. There we go, the first piece. There we go. You can see the little circle filling as well, and how many ECUs there is. All cleaned up. One more piece. And then finally another piece here. All done as well. To switch modes, you just right click right between the two. It's basically the basics of it. To go out of this mode, you can just press Alt S again. Now we're back into salvage mode. But usually I don't fracture the ships. I just salvage them, scrape their hulls, and then I move on because that gives me more profit. Now let me teach you how to look for panels. We can probably do it around this area here as well, since there are asteroids. So let's quickly start scanning. I'm just going to press V to enter scanning mode and start pressing tab. Now we're going to look for values here. We're going to look for an equal number. Let's see. So all of these are odd numbers. Very odd. Keep scanning here. I'm pressing tab to ping, seeing if I can find panels. So there you can see 10,000. If you basically can divide it by 2 and it ends up perfectly, that means it's panels. So let me just see if I can find another example. So basically get 2,000, 4,000, and so forth. And you can go all the way up to a very big number, but each panel is basically an equal number. I'm quickly going to head over there and then we'll see what we can find there. Here you can see all the panels. It's basically just scrap lying around in space. You can start salvaging it by hitting M right to enter your mode again. And once you're here, you just click again. I like to press G next. Go into gimbal mode. It makes it a little bit easier for me. And you focus your lasers a little bit. So now you can just start salvaging. I'm going to turn off my light here just so that I can see a little bit better what I have scraped. And there we go. I'm completely done with this panel. Let me move on to the other panels. I'll probably meet up with you once we're done here. And then I'll show you how to basically unload your cargo from the back. Alright, we're completely done with all of the panels. So to unload, we're just going to exit our ship here. Go all the way to the back here. Pull down. And then you're going to go to this little terminal. Here is all of the cargo. You can see about 8 ECUs of recycled material. And construction material is that ship that we fractured, right? But we only have 0.75 ECUs. We can eject here make sure you hit auto and then you eject. Color will change. The color needs to light up in order to auto eject constantly. Then you need a tractor beam like this, or you can have a smaller one like this, which you can buy at a station as well, or you can make one. Here, there is some crafting going around here as well. But you basically just take the box and load it onto the grid until you fill the grid completely. Now, I don't have enough material to do this just yet, so I'll probably just unload this and then I'll show you where to go sell, or at least where to find the best places to sell. I think we're done here. There's a little bit left in the buffer, but you can basically fill up this cargo hold here and then leave it in the buffer, unload this, and then just continue the process. So you can carry about 24 SEUs, a little bit more if you fill up this area here as well, but your cargo won't be secured, right? Let me go show you where to sell now. In order to find the best place to sell, I like to use SE Trade Tools. You can just go here to Best Buyer and then type in Recycled Material Composite. You should have about 24 SEUs or more, and then you can just hit Submit. Here is all the Pyro places where you can go sell, but if you don't want to sell at Pyro, you can choose locations here. Scroll down and then select location here, avoid selected, select Pyro, submit again, and here you can see the best places to sell. Just note that some of them aren't as secure as it should be, so just take note of it. But you can see Terra Mills Hydro Farms, one of the best to do, but they only have, I think, almost a zone, where Orison has a secure private hangar, so a little bit better to sell at Orison than other places. But I usually just go sell at Grimhex. It's hassle free. You can just quickly go into the station. Don't have to ride any train, so Grimhex is always my go-to at the moment. If you're wondering where can you find more panels, well, if you look on the map and go to the Crusader here, you can basically find more panels in the Yala asteroid belt. So there should be an asteroid belt around Yala. You can farm there. You can also find panels around the new mining bases. It's around Crusader and I believe other planets as well. So you can find there. Any asteroid belt should have panels that you can go scan for. But at the moment, I actually prefer to salvage ships way more than these panels. The panels feel a little bit lackluster to me at the moment. That's why I go for ships mostly. I'm quickly going to go to a mining base to see if we can find any abandoned ships. Sometimes players will die and the ship will stay behind, and you can also salvage that. Here we go. We finally found a ship here. I'm just going to give it a scan. Maybe it has cargo. You never know. So no cargo. Take a look at all of the things on board. Seems like a default one, but the ship is abandoned. So I'm definitely going to salvage it or scrap it. It's quite big, so this should fill us up hopefully. But let me get started. Well, I'm basically done scrapping this whole constellation. Got most of it. There's definitely some meat on the bone, but I'm not gonna bother. Let's quickly go sell what's in my buffer and in my cargo hold to see how much we made in total. Probably not a big profit since I'm not completely full. To sell, I'm just going to go to Grimhex, right? Managed to land here. I'm just going to park my ship and unload. Here we go. Here's the first box. Now I just need to fill the cargo elevator. Now I need to empty my buffer here. Just going to grab it straight from the ship and throw it on the elevator as it comes out. Makes it a little bit faster, I believe. If you didn't know, you can also craft here. I'm just going to craft a fuse. We'll also crafting in process, you can see there. And then there we go. You can craft a little fuse or a tractor beam. There's a couple of things you can also craft here. I had some extra material in my buffer that I can't make a box out of. But here is all of our material. Let's send it down and head over to admin's office. Here's the admin office. Salvaging is definitely not the craziest gameplay loop. You won't make the most amount of money, but it will give you some variety, right? Let's see what we can sell everything for. I managed to get 18 ACUs, not even 24. since I kind of messed around a little bit here and there, but 162k thereabout. Let's sell. But hope this guide was helpful. If it was, please leave a like, and if you want to see a better way to make money, then you can watch this video right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.